one more time. Spiritual Gumbo. We're going to call this the Traveling Tabernacle Part 2. There's going to be a couple other things that we talk about. Uh, like the inner workings of it, I guess. Because it's not over. I could have called this stuff All Gold Everything Part 2 and 3, but it's just, I don't know. People are upset. I think they don't really understand my way, how I look at gold and my view of frequency and how I look at spectra. So I can't really actually force that. All I can do is try to imbue uh, uh, a, a, a more clear thought of what it is that I see in my mind. Um, Here we go. And just in case you didn't catch the last one, the traveling tabernacle speaks on the perfection of the tabernacle, and I have to stress that the Most High God gives pretty clear directions about what sizes the things are supposed to be, and when you actually look at it and you understand it, right? The idea is so that once again, just like any good any a righteous master would do to his servants, he would give them proper instruction. Okay, he gives them righteous instruction, just instruction, and that was given to the people so as to how to allow the house wherein the people may not come all the time, but I know where the Levite priests need to go and where Moses may need to go, and where certain people may go from time to time, right? But the idea truly is so that way there's a place that is considered holy. And within it, the Holy of Holies is supposed to have his place. And having said that, his place is to be separated from men, even the men that are doing his due diligence. So that way people understand that the Most High God separates himself from all. Ultimately, this is a matter of righteousness. Having said that, verse 1 of chapter 27 now of the Exodus. And here we go. And thou shalt make an altar of incorruptible wood, of 5 cubits in length, 5 cubits in breadth. And the altar shall be square. Awkward that your man talked about things not being square the last time and talks about this being square. And the altar shall be square. And the height of it shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns on the four corners. And the horns shall be of the same piece. And thou shalt cover them, and thou shalt overlay them with brass. Stop right there. So the Most High God is saying you're going to have to get a piece of wood that's so big, that's roughly 15 feet long and 15 feet in width, right? Or right in depth, right? And what you're going to have to do is, this is why it needs to be so big, right? Because you have to make the horns on each side. Something not long enough, not big enough, you can't carve the horns on the same piece of wood. Right. So this is why they were using, and understand, think about how big the trees would have to be. Think about how gargantuan a tree would have to be for it to all just be one piece like that. Right. See, those are things I don't even get carried away with. Because that's not the tabernacle is linen and animal skins for the most part, with some wood. This right here is an altar, okay, of incorruptible wood, all right, and it's 5 cubits in length, so roughly 15 feet one way, and then another 15 feet the other way, like the. So this is, if this is the length of it, right on, then it's 15 feet like this. You know what I'm talking about? You know, the breadth. That's what the breadth means. You know, length, width, height. You know what I'm saying? The height is obviously how tall it is, but people are like, well, that. No, that's not exactly the same thing. You know, because it doesn't, because it's the height is going to be covered no matter what the breadth is. Right. But there are things that you can do where you can say, I need this side this big, this side this big, and this side this big. That's not how the altar's working. I can't help but to stress this because there are dimensions given that people need to keep in their mind, that the reason they're kept the same is so that way when something is not right with it, if the other tool is proper the way it's supposed to be, they can easily see and then replace it or fix it. Little things like that is logistics on top of righteousness, or under righteousness, I should say. Verse 3. And thou shalt make a rim for the altar, and its covering, and its cups, and its flesh hooks, and its fire pans, and all its vessels thou shalt make of brass. So this sounds like a cauldron of some sort, of something that you cook with. All right. The altar sounds like a stove or something, almost even. A stove, oven thing, right? Incorruptible wood, so it means it can be burnt up as many times as you. Doesn't matter. It can hold the heat. It's not gonna change. It's not gonna break down on you. It's all good. Verse 4. And thou shalt make for it a brazen gate with network. Oh, what's that? Like a grill top. And thou shalt make for the grate 4 brazen rings under the 4 sides. And thou shalt put below them under the grate of the altar. And thou shalt put below them under the grate of the altar. And the grate shall extend to the middle of the altar. And thou shalt make for the altar staves of incorruptible wood. And thou shalt overlay them with brass. And thou shalt put staves into the rings. Shall put the staves into the rings. And let the staves be on the sides of the altar to carry it. Traveling grill. I'm sorry, y'all. Woo. Too funny. And thou shalt put the staves in the rings, and let the staves be on the sides of the altar to carry it. And thou shalt make it hollow with boards, according to what was shewed to thee in the mount. So thou shalt make it. Stop right there. Once again, telling Moses, bruh, you will not be deviating. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying? He's just letting them know. Don't deviate, bruh. Don't. I love the Most High. Don't just go off and go do your own thing. I told you what to do. Don't go do something different. This is how I know that Moses did what he was told to do. And the people didn't. If y'all ever wonder why I always come at the necks of the people who were never perfect with the Most High, this is why. It's getting dark in here. Half a second. Here we go. Almost looked like nighttime on me. Where were we at? Verse 9? Yeah. And thou shalt make a court for the tabernacle. Curtains of the court of fine linen on the south side. The length of the length of 100 cubits for one side. And their pillars 20, and 20 brazen sockets for them. So this is pretty much something to hold it on and to keep it like, so this is where you're going to keep it at. You know what I'm saying? Like the actual area for it. You know what I'm saying? 100 cubits, that's 300 feet of fine linen. Let me go ahead and get back to that real quick and just keep reading. What is that? 100 cubits for one side. That's 300 feet, or roughly. And their pillars 20. So it's going to be 20 pillars for the 100 cubits. you need 20 pillars. So we're talking about 5 cubits apart of spacing. Um, and 20 brazen sockets of silver. So each pillar is going to get one socket. And there shall be to the side toward the north curtains of 100 cubits in length. So to the northern side of it, it's going to have a curtain on it, right? As long as the actual cord is, right? 1 second. And their pillars, 20, and their sockets, 20 of brass. Now stop right there. Now you notice that that they have brazen sockets on this other one. It has the rings and their clasps are silver. Now let's read, make sure that this one's going to stay the same. The rings and clasps of the pillar are silver. Yep, sockets overlay. Okay, there we go. Making sure that everything is right. And their sockets 20 of brass, and the rings and the clasp and the rings and the rings and the clasp of the pillar, and their sockets overlaid with silver. See now, why that's kind of half confusing when you read it is because I think the way I'm imagining it is you have the pillars, you have the one socket per pillar, it's brazen, okay. Then you have all the little rings around it, and then the covering of the actual socket is silver, but not the socket itself. So let me just let my mind get imaginative for a second. But I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. I've worked it out a couple different ways. That's the best way. The other ways don't sound as good, so we're not going to go over them. We'll just say that Meach thought they were mixing metal, and it's just too complicated. Where are we at? Verse 12. And in the breadth of the tabernacle toward the west, and in the breadth of the tabernacle toward the west curtain of 50 cubits. So in the back of it, it's only going to be half the length. Okay? 10 pillars. And their sockets 10. And the height of the curtains shall be 50 cubits. For the one side of the gate, there are 3 pillars and there are 3 sockets. So stop right there. So now we know how high the curtains are going to be up. Okay. So if they're 50 cubits up, it's roughly 150 feet. Excuse me. And are these the same curtains? Let me make sure. Curtains of 50 cubits in there. No. So no. These curtains are. So the tabernacle's built. Imagine everything from the last video. Okay. Now it's giving a height dimension to the overall area of everything. So it's going to be 150 feet up, right? Or generally somewhere close to that high. People are like, dude, that's super duper high up. Don't ask me. I wasn't telling these people to put it up nor take it down. So they weren't angry at Meach. I know that. Moses must have had some thick skin, on top of being the most humble man that yet lived while he was living. So yes. And when it tells us to fold up over still, because the the overall tabernacle. So this is my idea. Is this? It's going to be so high up to where you can kind of still see. They'd be able to see people or activity. Nobody's going to be able to just sneak up. Like, the tabernacle is not built to where, like, once again, because only the backside is open. So the Most High is like, no, we want it to be tall enough and high enough to where you can still see what's going on in the world outside of you, but to where the backside is always open. And this also creates a better. It just allows it to breathe. Where are we at? Verse 14. And the height of the curtain shall be 50 cubits on the one side of the gate. There are 3 pillars, and their sockets 3. And for the second side, the height of the curtains shall be 15 cubits. So the very back of it is 150 feet up. Right on. Mind you, though, there's no back. So I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to put this idea here. You have this big old curtain behind your tabernacle. Okay. Everything's already open. Still 15 feet up, 45 feet for the one side. You roll it. You had 60 feet of roll, 15 feet of overhang. Once you roll up, because the tabernacle itself, the fine linen, let me go back one page and look real quick. And let me see exactly how many cubits it is. 20 cubits. You know what I'm saying? 28. Excuse me. So 24. Am I right? No, I can't be right. 3 times 28 is 76. Yeah, 76 feet. So 76 feet. So understand, the actual curtain itself is 76 feet, right? And that's the actual curtain of fine linen. The animal curtain, give me 1 second, is 30 cubits. Okay? And it's about 12 feet thick. So it's 90 feet long. So before I start to get the numbers all messed up, you have 150 feet high in the back. So it's higher than everything in the back. In the front, off to the sides now, 45 feet up, bang. You have, listen, because so that means you're going to have hang no matter what. So you're going to have roughly 20-something feet of hang, almost 31 feet of overhang from the initial curtain. You pull and fold that up. You're going to have another 40 feet, almost 45 feet of overhang from the protective drapery of the animal skins. Okay, you're going to have the 50 golden hooks that are actually on each side holding the fine linen. 50 here, and then 50 here, 50 here, 50 here. And then you're going to have the 50 brazen hooks that are holding the animal skins together. 50 here, 50 here, 50 here. Whatever they have lined through it, all the incorruptible wood, all the different pillars and posts. So you have, if I'm not mistaken, 20 on one side, 20 on the other, and then 10 in the back. 2 silver sockets per post. I'm just trying to put together the picture for you. You have five posts that are outside of this, okay, that are smaller, right? These are gilded in gold, right? And the middle post of each one of those comes all the way up and over, and they connect. So it connects to the sides, and then it connects from the back. The one from the back, I'm assuming, is in front of this curtain. Because if it's behind this curtain, that means that it itself is as tall as the curtain. You see what I'm saying? Uh, um, Having said that, that's the general outlay for the outside. The inside of it now, we have a cooking table. Excuse me, no, I lie. The Ark of the Covenant and the golden table and all the golden articles go inside of the Tabernacle of Witness. Now we get to where we're at, all right? And we have a cooking station, right? And we have an overall cooking area that's been explained to us. And then it's also now gone back to the Tabernacle of Witness, and it's telling us how it's going to be set up, right? Furthermore, as to how it wants, let me just read this one more time so that way there's no confusion. Read the height. 15 cubits. 50 cubits. And then, so look. So the two sides are 15. The very front is 20 cubits. The very back is 50 cubits, right? So understand that even that even when you look at it like this, like even if a person tries to say, oh, the whole back 50 cubits up is connected, I'm like, I doubt it because it says it's open. Go with that mentality. There's enough drag almost. Well, with the exception of all the material. But the material covers everything. Do you get what I'm saying? It covers all of it. So the only things it wouldn't cover is that even if you were to put that there, is that it would still leave an open spot to the back so you could still see behind you. Just throwing that out there. Trying to humanize this is like I can't explain to you right now how this all takes place. We're almost there. But I'll just tell you that the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Dan are much more important than people think they are. Especially to the fact that people upplay Judah and downplay a tribe like Dan, and it's kind of unfortunate. But both are instrumental in these things taking place. Here we go. And the height of the curtain shall be 50 cubits for the one side of the gate. 3 pillars. Their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. For the second, the height for the second side, the height of the curtain shall be 15 cubits. Their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And the veil for the door of the court, the height of it 20 cubits, of blue linen, and of purple, and spun scarlet, and of fine linen spun with the art of the embroiderer. Their pillars 4, and their sockets 4, and the pillars of the court round about overlaid with silver, and the chapiter silver, and their brass sockets. And the length of the court shall be 100 cubits on each side, and the breadth 50 on each side, and the height 5 cubits of fine linen spun, and their sockets of brass, and all the furniture, and all the instruments, and the pins of the courts, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. Stop right there. Let's go. Let me just keep reading these last couple of verses. And do thou charge the children of Israel, and let them take charge for the refined, pure olive oil, beaten to burn for light, that the lamp may burn continually in the tabernacle of testimony, without the veil that is before the ark of the covenant. until the morning before the Lord. It is a perpetual ordinance throughout your generations of the children of Israel. Stop right there. So I'm gonna leave off on that note and say that did you notice how the Most High God is like the Ark of the Covenant is supposed to it's supposed to be veiled, right on? It's supposed to be covered. Um, People aren't supposed to see it, right? That's what makes it so special. One of these days, people will appreciate the fact that the Israelites weren't, the children of Israel weren't just rolling with with um with their own people. You know what I'm saying, does that make sense? You know what I'm saying, um, I can't stress it to you enough. Some of the things that we'll try to look up or try to make sense out of won't always make sense. Like, let's go back and look at something before I roll out on y'all. Like when he uses words like, what is it? Or how it spins it, how it puts it together. Let's say it like this. So it'll read verse 15, right? For example, and for the second side, the height of the curtain shall be of 15 cubits. Their pillars 3, and their sockets 3, right? So people will be like, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. But I'm like, well, but you have to understand, it's 50 feet in height, right on. But that doesn't explain the well. You'd have to assume that the pillars are almost as tall. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Right. So when it says words like chapiters, right, which is, you guys ever seen like a building, have like the columns on them, like the very top part, right? That where it's like where like the I won't say like the design begins or ends, but it's normally round and then it'll become like square and then it'll be like another square. It's that area that's right there, that square to become a square again. Okay, that's a chapiter, and and in this instance, it doesn't make sense because, well, it does, but it does. I mean, y'all realize that Moses had those people carrying around this heavy stuff. Y'all do realize that, right? Y'all do realize that Moses must have told these people, like, man, we could become our own nation. I know just where to go. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to sound blasphemous or nothing like that. But you get what I'm saying, right? It's just amazing. Let's just say it like that, my friends. It's amazing. Tired. I appreciate your time. Mm. Oh, I love doing these. Oh, do I love doing these. Y'all have a blessed night. Spiritual Gumbo. Oh, no. The next thing we do is our review. So don't worry. No matter what's coming up, and I've already kind of looked ahead, some of the stuff is still connected. I might do one more recording. I highly doubt it. It's time for a review. We're out.